We are starting with breaking news at the top of the show. Padmasha Joshi, Karnataka's Minister for Higher Education, has in fact said something rather shocking. He was asked about giving up his security. To that he said that I will do it the day the Prime Minister does. The counter question was, how can the Prime Minister's security be removed, especially at a time when there is a threat perception, there is a threat to his life? What did the Minister reply to that? Listen in for yourself.
Modi ಅವರು ನಿಜವಾಗಿನೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ first he has to remove the security. ತಮ್ಮದು first ಮೋದಿ ತಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಯಾವುದು ಯಾರು ಅವರೊಬ್ಬರೇ ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು, ಬದಲಿ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ಮೋದಿ ತೆಗಿಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್, ನೋ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ, ನಾನು ಐ ಆಮ್ ರೆಡಿ. ನನಗೇನು ಸಾಯಿ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸಾಯ್ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ.
What is becoming of our political discourse? In fact, Deputy Editor India Today, Rohini Swamy, is with us on that story. Rohini, what was he thinking? Why make a comment like that? All right, let me get a first reaction from the Congress. The party spokesperson Priyanka Chaturvedi with us. Would you like to outright condemn what has been said by the Minister of Higher Education, Priyanka?
I totally disagree with what he is saying, that considering that he's the Prime Minister of the country, he is bound to get the security that he deserves as he heads the nation. But I'm sure our Chief Minister is capable enough of ensuring that accountability is set. And let me tell you one thing, that as far as the Congress is concerned and the Bharatiya Janata Party, the difference that stays between the two of us is we are not willing to defend something which is wrongly said, while on the other hand you have a Bharatiya Janata Party which continues to defend any wrongdoing that happens. So I'm very sure that Chief Minister of Karnataka will take note of this and he will ensure that accountability is set in.
Well, I certainly hope so. In fact, speaking about the Chief Minister himself, we of course will talk in detail about him ahead on the show. But let me quickly get in India Today's Deputy Editor Rohini Swamy. What was the context? What was he thinking, talking like this about the Prime Minister, Rohini?
Well, that's the question that is being raised, because it's absolute defiant way in which he has spoken. Number one, the question was whether he would accept to remove the red beacon. Now, that's a cabinet decision that has been taken centrally. All that needs to be said is they will decide or not decide. But he goes on to say that if the Prime Minister removes it, then I will remove it. And ask for the security that is involved in the Prime Minister. He says, why should he fear for his life? And if somebody says, what if something happens, he will let it die. So that kind of brazenness in which Deputy Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has to pull him up for the comment that is being made, because it's not just about Narendra Modi as an individual, but we're talking to the Prime Minister of the country.
All right, just stay with me, Rohini, because I want to play out once again what is it that the Minister for Higher Education said, and we are again hoping that outright and unequivocal condemnation of these comments come from the Chief Minister himself as well as the party. We already had a party spokesperson condemning it. Let's listen in.
Modi ಅವರು ನಿಜವಾಗಿನೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ first he has to remove the security. ತಮ್ಮದು first ಮೋದಿ ತಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಯಾವುದು ಯಾರು ಅವರೊಬ್ಬರೇ ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು, ಬದಲಿ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ಮೋದಿ ತೆಗಿಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್, ನೋ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ, ನಾನು ಐ ಆಮ್ ರೆಡಿ. ನನಗೇನು ಸಾಯಿ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸಾಯ್ಬೇಕು.
Siddaramaiah watched that, and speaking of Mr. Siddaramaiah, while the country is talking about doing away with needless markers of privilege, not just the Lal Batti, Karnataka's CM, Mr. Siddaramaiah, is showing no signs of being grounded. In fact, he exhibited VVIP arrogance twice in the same function today. First insulting a top cop publicly, and then made a former MLA clean up his mess. Watch this report to assess the sense of how a lot of our VIPs may remove the red beacon from their car, but their sense of entitlement still remains.
A top cop being admonished and humiliated by a chief minister in full public view. Watch how arrogance is writ large on Siddaramaiah's face as the superintendent of police of Mandya listens with a lowered head. And just why was Siddaramaiah so angry? A protest staged by the BJP got Siddaramaiah's goat, and he chose to vent his anger on the hapless top cop. Shockingly, the Chief Minister's brazen arrogance was backed by his minister.
ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಇಲಾಖೆಗೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳ ಪ್ರವಾಸದ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಮುಂತಿವ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಹಿತಕರವಾದ ಘಟನೆ ಆಗಬಾರದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಇಲಾಖೆಗೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತ ಮ್ಯಾಂಡೇಟ್.
And that wasn't the only act of VVIP arrogance displayed by Siddaramaiah in one day. Later, during the Mandya function, the Chief Minister spilled tea while his aide, a former MLA, cleaned up after him. Siddaramaiah's brazen behavior has provided ammunition for the state opposition. The Karnataka Chief Minister recently came under attack for refusing to let go of his Lal Batti. And now, with his fresh brush with arrogance, there's little doubt that Siddaramaiah is the flag bearer of VVIP culture. With Nolan Pinto in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today.
In fact, Priyanka Chaturvedi, spokesperson Congress, continues to be with us on 8 p.m. Also joining us is a consumer voice, Bijon Mishra. But before that, I want to go first across to my colleague Nolan Pinto, who's joining us from Bengaluru. What do the people in the city make of their Chief Minister's actions, first refusing to give up his Lal Batti, and now what was witnessed today? Nolan?
Right, Padmaja. In fact, we have spoken to a lot of people, and I have a few people right over here who come from different fields. In fact, I'm going to speak to them directly. I have with me first Mr. Harish, who's an advocate. Now, you've seen what's happening here in this state. What do you have to say about what's all happening over here? Is it just tokenism that we're looking at, or can you actually see some changes?
It is absolutely tokenism itself. Reason is there are several uncodified VIP culture which you get to see in your day-to-day life. Examples are recently you saw a bureaucrat being carried by the people over there across the wading waters because his shoes was going to get dirty. We have seen when officers tying shoelace of netas as when they come to a program. You have seen in netas where you have seen some followers putting the slipper into the leg of the to the neta over there. We have seen people trying to wash the clothes when some tea spills over on their clothes, or if whatever they are carrying falls down, they will take it and give it to him. Do all these things. There are several uncodified things where when DCs insist school children to line up for a function, some neta is coming.
To your point.
Yeah. These are things of symbolism, that's all, but really,
symbolism, you're saying. Okay. Now, we also have there's head of a media studies right over here. What do you have to say about this, especially what's happened in the state in the past, since yesterday?
I think we have a deep cultural flaw which manifests in these sort of forms. It's not just the ways in which these VIPs respond, it's also the ways in which we as a society respond. There are followers who swing from one end of, let's say, reverence to another end of ridicule. So this sort of culture that we have is the one that leads to many such practices.
You think the culture has to change, and that takes a long time. In fact, just one more activist right over here. Ma'am, VVIP culture, is it ingrained over here? Congress, BJP, JDS, can that change?
I would actually like to say that it depends from person to person, and also from state to state. I mean, yes, there is a lot of VIP culture as well. But there are also a lot of examples where people who have been elected so many times, have been ministers, who have been absolutely, been accessible to. I mean, I personally believe this red beacon is just tokenism. There's so much that needs to be done. If a person who is actually elected, that person is actually a government servant, and they need to be accessible to people, including the Prime Minister.
All right. Padmaja, so this is basically what the people over here say, that yes, it is tokenism. But one thing is certain, the VVIP culture is actually ingrained. And just by removing the beacon, and we have seen the examples since what happened yesterday, the whole day, it will take a very, very long time for things to actually change in this country, not just in the state, but I think throughout India.
I couldn't agree more, Nolan, with all the people that you spoke to. Thanks very much for joining us. Bijon Mishra, why is it so hard to be treated like an aam aadmi by our VIPs? Batti chali gayi hai, lal batti hatne ka anyway itna dukh hai that now they want to cling on to every other manifestation of their power and status.
Because it is highly addictive. You see, once you get used to it, nobody wants to give it up. It's highly addictive. And this is what I want to say, that it is high time they got rid of this addiction. It is high time they got rid of this, because no longer the citizens will allow this to happen. It has happened for too long. That culture has to change, that attitude has to change, because we are moving towards becoming a developed country.
Is this a sign of some of our politicians being hopelessly out of touch with what people want from our netas? From someone bending down to look for his shoes, to someone cleaning his tea that he has spilled, to rebuking a superintendent of police on stage as a useless fellow?
Absolutely. And you know that...
No, I'm sorry, but I beg to differ, simply because when you have some states like Madhya Pradesh, where we saw the Chief Minister being carried across just to check what was happening with the flood situation in Madhya Pradesh, and you only concentrate on a state which is governed by the Congress party, I think it's an unfair comparison. But anyway, since you compare the Congress ruled state, let me be very clear about this. Where accountability is concerned, you can be very clear in your head that accountability, if needs to be set in, will be set in. But saying that any law
accountability, the last time, Priyanka Chaturvedi, we had the Chief Minister being seen on camera with someone tying his shoelaces. He had said, these are people who are just helping me out.
Please.
It's like these are relics of the Raj, Bijon
allow
Mishra.
me to complete. We've also had the Home Minister, we've had images. We've had the images
How
of
can
the
you
Home
bring good
Minister
governance?
getting his shoes
Let me
tied
finish.
by
Let me
an army
finish.
officer.
Let me intervene.
Let's not forget that.
Let me intervene.
No, please allow me to complete, Padmaja. Allow me to complete.
No,
sir,
you
don't
have
intervene.
said. You have
I
already
did not
spoken.
intervene when you
You
were
have
speaking.
spoken.
Allow me to make my point.
No, but
then
you've
you can
spoken.
intervene.
No, it's
my point
my
is
turn.
very clear.
It's my
point
turn.
is very clear. Holding any bureaucrat accountable, I think, is the Chief Minister's responsibility. By calling it VVIP treatment, I think we are doing a big disservice to the chair of the Chief Minister. Having said that, anything which goes beyond VVIP, and I think it's the 1st of May which talks about red beacon going off everyone's car. Let me talk to you about Maharashtra, a government which is run by the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Shiv Sena, where the Shiv Sena has come
because
forward
why
and
I'm
said
asking about
that
Mr.
they would
Siddaramaiah
find ways
in particular, and let also Bijon Mishra come in at this point before you bring in Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. We have questioned each one of these people, Priyanka, but why I asked about Mr. Siddaramaiah is because in the past I remember when there was a traffic hold up because of him, and our reporter had asked him, sir, why are you stopping the traffic? He had said they will have to wait because I am CM. They will have to wait.
He will continue holding people accountable, whether it is someone who's a bureaucrat, someone who is in the services, will be held accountable if they are found lacking in their duty. And
calling someone a useless fellow in front of a packed house is not accountability. Okay, what kind of accountability is coming from someone cleaning up the tea that he spilled?
It's unfortunate.
What kind of accountability is that, Priyanka? You know you are defending the indefensible here.
No, that is now here's the thing. Someone
Padmaja,
from
Padmaja,
one of your someone who is a reporter in Karnataka was talking about how the society continues being servile. It's unfortunate, but it is a reflection on the society we live in. So if it's not like the Chief Minister has asked him to do that. It
is this system of civility that is encouraged by some politicians. Bijon Mishra.
Please, accused of VVIP racism. I think there is no.
I think you said more than your piece. Let Bijon Mishra also come in. Bijon Mishra.
It's something we all need to change. But holding the Chief Minister accountable, I think, is extremely unfortunate.
Can you learn?
Listen to you, sir, if the question is asked of you and I'm speaking.
But please keep quiet now, it's my turn.
The question
you can't continue speaking. You can't continue speaking. Yeah. You see, it is not something to do with BJP government and Congress government.
Does not mean that I'm continuing to speak. The question Padmaja
No, you please keep quiet and listen to me for some time. Please, listen to me for some time. Please listen to me.
No, you will
what
not talk
I am
to me
saying
like
is
that. Unfortunately, sir,
it is nothing to do.
I'm listening to you, sir, but you cannot talk to me in this kind of a manner.
Yes, please, let's be polite to each other. Yes, Bijon Mishra, please make your point.
Shut up. There is an anchor in place. Let the anchor do the talking.
Yes, please be civil to each other.
I will keep quiet when I have to keep quiet.
Yeah, don't put words in my mouth. I have requested you to keep quiet.
Okay, Bijon Mishra, go ahead and make your point, please.
You see what I am saying, it has got nothing to do with Congress government and BJP government. It is to do with good governance. It is to do with accountability. You can't disrespect citizens. You can't make the officers who are working, undermine them in public domain. This is not a discipline. I mean, what do they think they are? whoever they are. I am not talking about any particular political party. I am talking about the code of conduct of political parties. It is high time they understood that the writing is clear on the wall, that citizens don't want to be disrespected. They want good governance. They want accountability. They want transparency. They want that all the money which we pay for the taxpayers' money, which they have privileges. They have so much of privileges, and still they continue to ask for more and more and more. They increase their salary on their own. They are not bothered about the unemployed youth. They are not bothered about how to create employment for the youth. They are only talking about their amenities and facilities and VIPism. It is high time. I am in Lucknow today. I am telling you, they never waited for 1st of May. Not a single Lal Batti is there on any government vehicle. There is no deadline of 1st May. They have implemented it.
Okay,
that goes to show how committed.
He's drawing a parallel.
So it has nothing to do with BJP or Congress.
Priyanka Chaturvedi.
It has got nothing to do with BJP or Congress.
Mr. Bijon Mishra, he seems to have missed the news item. He seems to have missed the news item about Uttar Pradesh MLA, BJP MLA.
I have missed the news item.
Who trashed a person who was asking him for toll money, who trashed him left, right and center, a toll officer, or left, right and center. Isn't that VVIP racism, sir? Is it just about the Lal Batti being out of their car? Is it what we see Mr. Ravindra Gaikwad do from the Shiv Sena? So when you talk about I'm sorry, sir. Your defense seems to be about one particular party. Your argument seems to be in favor of one particular party. So let me.
No, we condemn it.
Allow me to complete.
We are talking in favor of good action. We are talking in favor of good action.
Allow me to complete.
Allow me to complete. Why are you interrupting me now? I never said what you are saying. I never said what you are saying.
Why is this VVIP racism coming from you now?
That's the problem with your politicians.
Why is this VVIP racism coming from you now? Allow me to complete.
That is the problem with
Allow
politicians.
me to complete.
They don't talk on the point.
Allow me to complete.
They don't talk on the point.
Allow me to complete.
They beat around the bush.
As a citizen,
okay, just a second. Bijon Mishra, just a second.
If you respect your point of view,
Bijon Mishra, just a second. Let her complete what she
You have to give a point of view to someone who is representing a political party. No, you cannot keep talking. No, you cannot keep talking. You cannot
Why
keep talking.
I can't keep talking?
When you talk about Uttar Pradesh and
I will not allow you to speak something which I
No, let's not do this.
Anti-VVIP racism.
Priyanka, you know that whataboutery is going to be endless. You know that whataboutery is going to be endless. Yes, you are right. Yes, you are right. There was a BJP MLA whose staff and he beat up staff of a toll plaza. We have done that story extensively. There is also a BJP minister who in fact made fun of someone who was differently abled. He was extremely insensitive to that person and said that how can he be employed to clean up the premises? That's why the offices are so dirty. But here I'm talking about the chief minister of a state. All of this is equally condemnable, but that doesn't make it okay for Mr. Siddaramaiah have someone tie his shoelaces or clean up the mess that he has made is my limited point. Why is it so difficult to say this is unacceptable and Mr. Siddaramaiah should desist?
Women. Unmarried women, what are we talking about? It's not just, listen, it's not just about the Lal Batti culture. It's about, single women and how the bureaucrats were residing there, the MLAs entering their homes, entering their bedrooms. What are we even talking about? If we want to talk about ending VVIP culture, this is how it starts. When we talk about a Ravindra Gaikwad hitting Air India employees with slippers, then you have to unequivocally condemn that.
We did.
When you praise the UP
Why can't you unequivocally condemn Mr. Siddaramaiah then? The way you did Ravindra Gaikwad.
I'm not talking about India today. I'm not talking, Padmaja, I'm not talking about India today. I'm not talking about
a young, aware citizen and a party spokesperson, you condemn Ravindra Gaikwad. Why can't you condemn Mr. Siddaramaiah as well, as someone who is hopelessly out of touch?
I totally condemn everything. I totally condemn everything which represents VVIP culture, just like I condemn what Ravindra Gaikwad did, just like I condemn how a terminal in Delhi allows only access to elected representatives of the parliament and Aam Aadmi Party are denied access through that gate. I unequivocally condemn that. But at the same time, let's be fair. when you talk about Bangalore or Karnataka, let's also talk about Uttar Pradesh and the inconsistencies that we see as far as Uttar Pradesh governance is concerned. You cannot be praising them and ignoring what is happening with the MLA behaving the way they do.
No, we are not.
Ignoring what is
we are
happening
not. In fact, let's pull up those pictures right now of that MLA whose staff beat up the toll plaza employees.
It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about a so-called representative of common people, of the civil society who's sitting on your panel discussion right now, who chooses to ignore that. You have a Shiv Sena minister who says we will find ways and means to ensure that the VVIP culture continues. So it's not just about Lal Batti.
I could not be more in agreement with you, Priyanka Chaturvedi. I have to say that it is appreciable that at least you have said that everyone who exhibits behavior of this kind should be condemned. You as a party spokesperson has said it. I certainly hope that your party's chief minister in Karnataka is going to be listening to that. Thank you very much for having had the courage to say it on TV. Thank you very much, Priyanka Chaturvedi and Bijon Mishra, for joining us on 8 p.m. today. And thanks to everyone who was watching. Out of time, coming up next, India First.